Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you. It is just after 6 o'clock on this, the 15th day of July. Thank you for being around. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're certainly appreciative of that. I promised I'd get to calls, and I'm going to do so. I will tell you that there are members of Congress that have now decided to introduce a discharge petition. Specifically, Thomas Massie from up in Kentucky is calling on a discharge petition, which is, for those who don't know, and Thomas was gracious enough to describe it to us, it is a procedural tool for bypassing leadership. In 7 days, they will start collecting signatures, and if they get up to 218 signatures, the House will vote on the bill requiring a full release of the Epstein files. And then it remains to be seen what is there, what is not there. We're getting a lot of mixed signals. All I can tell you is all of this would have been avoided. I suggest, if not all of it, 90% of this would have been avoided if Pam Bondi had held a press conference, assembled the media, explained to us that there was less there than they believed, explained what was there, explained what they could talk about, what they could not talk about, and then take questions. In the meantime, Wade is next in Pulaski. Hey, Wade, glad you called, glad you waited. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm a semi-retired truck driver, and I used to be down in Birmingham a lot. I used to listen to you and Leland back in, but anyway, what I called you about, back in the early 80s, somewhere in, I won't say it's early 80s, every little town in North Alabama was dry. If you didn't get beer in Huntsville, you had to wait till you got to Birmingham. And Muscle Shoals was one of the first towns to go wet. And the bars popped up everywhere. And a bunch of us took off down there one night. We're going to check the bars out. And then we're on our way back home to Tennessee. And we decided to go across Wilson Dam, which is TVA property. And the girl that's driving, we got pulled over. She got a DUI, and she ended up having to go to court. At that time, TVA, their headquarters in Knoxville. I don't know where it's at now. But if you got serious arrest, you had to go to court in Knoxville. And it's a long haul from Pulaski to Knoxville unless you're going to a UT game, So, but anyway, I guess they set up speed traps and everything. I guess if you got a speeding ticket, you could probably mail it in. I don't know. But anyway, that's all I had. I just want to tell you about how they operated back in. Like I say, that was in the 80s. So. But that's all I got.
I would assume that they have arrest authority. I mean, if they are a police force, one would assume that they would still have the ability to do that like they did back in the 1980s. I appreciate the call and the trip down memory lane. By the way, we have an update. Let me go to Ken Weaver over in the newsroom. I think we have an update in the Smyrna situation. Ken, is that not correct? Is he over there, Jackson? Do I see him back there? Can he hear me?
He is working on something.
He might be working on a report. I apologize. I meant to get to him a minute ago. I think that there has been a resolution. As a matter of fact, I know Ken's working on some of this stuff over there in the newsroom. The suspect in the Smyrna Police Department situation has been apprehended. According to the Smyrna Police, they have updated the situation, saying that the suspect was apprehended without incident and is now in custody. All roads have reopened. They would note, the Smyrna Police Department does, that there will still be considerable police presence in the area. Officers continue to work the active crime scene, the investigation ongoing. For those who are just joining us, maybe just in your cars, there were several road closures in the Smyrna area because there was initially an active shooter inside of a business, and then everybody got out of the business except for the suspect. And for a number of hours, the suspect had barricaded himself or herself. I don't know if it's a female or male, had barricaded themselves inside of the business. Law enforcement was on the scene the entire time. They contained the area. They blocked off the area. And now they're saying that the suspect has, in fact, in Smyrna, been apprehended without incident or without further incident. So there you go. It's Colin's turn. Hello, Colin.
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
I'm great, Colin. Thank you for calling in.
Hey, I wanted to weigh in on. I tried to call in yesterday. I couldn't get through about the some of the comedy movies y'all were talking about.
Oh, yes, sir. Raising Arizona, one of my faves.
Yeah, I was going to throw in Spaceballs, History of the World, Naked Gun, Airplane, and I would love to see what the liberal left would do if they released Blazing Saddles back in the theater.
Yeah, I don't think Blazing Saddles would make it. I just don't. I think Mel Brooks is on. Obviously, you're a Mel Brooks fan. I am too. I think Mel Brooks is on record as saying he almost couldn't get it made then. And
wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he had trouble, but the studios loved Mel Brooks, but they didn't get it. They did not understand the comedy. They didn't understand the humor in it. I don't know if you know this. I have a few fun facts about Blazing Saddles. Did you know who the original lead was going to be for the sheriff?
No, I do not.
Is Rich Pryor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Richard Pryor was originally supposed to play the part that eventually went to Cleavon Little. And Richard Pryor was a co-writer on the script. And the studio balked at him because they felt like he was too controversial and unknown. And they eventually went with Cleavon Little, who did a great job. And there was also Gene Wilder, I don't think, was slated to play the lead in that either, but I could be wrong. But, yeah, no, those are great suggestions. And I'll say this, Colin. Looks like I picked the wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Have you watched Airplane several times? If you notice, there is so much going on in the background that people don't catch. And it seems like every time I watch that, I see something that I didn't see before. When I first watched that movie, like way back when I was in like high school or whatever, and then later on I joined the military, I joined the Navy, and I went back and watched that again. And when they show him in the bar talking about he's in the Air Force and he's in a Navy uniform.
Oh, you know what? I learned something today. I never noticed that.
There's just little things like that throughout the movie that's going on in the background that people don't pay attention. Like when they're on the beach and he's talking about, why don't we go up this coast to this nice little restaurant? And he says, I can't. We're flying out tomorrow. We're going to be doing this, that, and the other. Tells the whole thing about the mission. And then she says, when will you be back?
It's
I can't
classified.
tell you. That's classified.
Yeah, it's classified. Over Macho Grande? No, I don't think I'll ever be over Macho Grande. Thank you, Colin, for that. We walked through some favorite comedy films from yesterday. This is No Comedy Call. Dave has a thought about the Epstein deal. Hello, Dave.
Hey, man. Hey, how are you doing?
I'm well, Dave. Thank you for calling.
Hey, this is Dave in Columbia. I usually text you and give you grief.
Well, man, I'm glad you decided to call me. Thank you for texting me and giving me grief, and thanks for calling in.
Yeah, oh, by the way, it's Gig Young. Gig Young had the role that Gene Wilder had in Blazing Saddles. He was originally cast.
Was he? But he was like, he drank too much, didn't he?
Yeah. They shot that first scene, the scene where Gene Wilder's character, I forget the name of it, was hanging upside down in the bunk. Well, that was Gig Young, but apparently he went into DTs or whatever, and they had to take him to the hospital, so he was out, and Gene Wilder got the call.
Well, lucky that he did,
Anyway.
because he was so good. So good.
But hey, on this Epstein thing, and I don't know if it's too tinfoil hat or whatever, but one thing I've noticed, this administration, Trump 2.0, is way more. Everything's calculated. Everything they do, not like Trump's the first term, because believe me, they made a lot of mistakes. But what do you think? By not releasing the files, by having, but my thought is if Bondi or whoever, they release the files, the first criticism from the left is going to be, oh, they're not telling us everything. Oh, they didn't give us everything. Oh, they're covered up. By forcing Congress to then take the action they do, he basically shifts the buck over to them and says, all right, then we dump all the files on the Congress, let them wade through it, get it out there, and it's out of our hands completely. And nobody's going to come back and say, oh, well, Trump's hiding something. Is that crazy, or what do you think?
Well, My analysis is by not being as forthcoming as possible through the Department of Justice, you are potentially handing a perception victory to Democrats, because as many Republicans as there are that want to get to the bottom, our own congressional or one of our representatives here in the state of Tennessee, Tim Burchett, had some strong language to say about it. I've got a clip to play later, but so I'm just trying to break this down. So Trump plays that 40 chess game, and what I can't get beyond is why you would go through that to move it to the Congress just so Democrats can begin to demand to see the information so that they can potentially claim a victory?
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, and that may be like a big stretch. I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, look, this guy was probably a CIA operative. They're probably sitting on a powder keg of information related to other things, not related to sex trafficking, that they don't want to get out. But I don't know, and none of us do. But I don't think we're ever going to see any of it, honestly.
Well, a Murphy maxim, or Murphy's Law number 142, states that a lack of information leads to speculation, and we are seeing this to the extreme, in my opinion, Dave, and thank you for the call, when it comes to the Epstein situation. You have a lot of people, from Matt Murphy to Dan I mean, I'm not pointing fingers here. I'm just saying, I mean, you have Dan Mandis and Matt Murphy and Chris and Chad and everybody and their brother on social media and everybody and their brother that has a podcast telling us what we quote unquote know about the Epstein files. Well, we know that he was a part of the Mossad, or we know that he was a part of the CIA. And I'm not saying you said that, Dave. I'm saying that. When, in fact, we don't know what we don't know. I speculate on some of this, and I tend to believe certain things, but I try to make sure that I tell you that. But you have a lot of people out there where we know this and we know that and we know this and we know that and this is why this is happening and this is what they're doing, and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Which leads me back to Murphy's Law number 147. A lack of information leads to speculation. Just get the information out there where the goats can graze on it. And I'm on record, by the way, just to reset for those maybe who have not heard it, I don't believe there's nearly the amount of information that many people would suggest there is. But I do not believe that there are not third parties implicated in these files. Marie joins us next on the Murphy Show lines. Hello, Marie. How are you?
I'm doing great, Murphy. Love you. Love you guys.
Thank you.
Great professionals. I just wanted, first, I had a couple of comments, but yes, I agree with you. Definitely, there's third parties, and that's the biggest thing I think that bothers me of this whole thing is that I want to know who these third parties are. I don't want to let them off. We have to set examples in this country, and we start at the top, and this is a chance for us to set an example that if you're a participant in any way of molesting or raping or trafficking underage children, and I'm saying underage 18 and under, and I agree with you. And on a lighter note, Dan Mandis, I just have to say that I go back to the days in Los Angeles with Dan Mandis when he was the producer of the Dr. Laura show.
Wow.
It was bigger than life. And just if people don't know, a little background about Dan, but Dan Mandis is the most professional, humble person. You would not even know half the talent that he has. But I'll tell you, all those years with Dr. Laura show in Los Angeles, I didn't miss a show, and neither did my dad. And we enjoyed every single show. And what a professional. And he was a big deal. So just people that don't know.
Well, he's still a big deal.
He was a star out in Los Angeles, and everybody knew who Dan Mandis and Dr.
No,
Laura.
still a big deal. Still a big deal, Marie.
Yeah.
So,
that's all.
Marie, did you before you go? I have one question.
Yeah.
Did you ever call him when he was the exec producer of the Dr. Laura show? Did you ever call?
I did not call. Yes, I did. I called, and yes, he answered, and I called, and I had a boyfriend problem because I was quite young back then.
Uh-huh.
And I think my dad called one time. My dad's in his 80s now. He's still there, but I live here in Tennessee. But we just really, we enjoyed that show thoroughly. It was.
I don't know if Dr. Laura's still going on. I used to love the Dr. Laura show too. It was like a soap opera on radio. But my question, I don't think I've ever asked Dan this question because the rumor was always that Dr. Laura insisted that her callers thank her for their call. Like, thank you for taking my call. That was always the rumor that you were instructed to say that. I don't think I've ever asked Dan that. But let me disabuse you of this, Marie. Have you ever met Dan?
Yeah.
Have you ever met Dan?
I have not in person.
Yeah.
I've actually, he's taken my call 2 times in all the years he's been here because I know the mornings are very hard, for him to take
Right.
a call. But anytime he opened a line, I would call.
Well, here's the truth of everything, Marie. I'm just telling you the truth. You ready?
Yep.
Dan Mandis, an absolute monster. Absolute monster, Marie. Monster. Screams, yells. Treats his producers like you wouldn't know. Oh, my goodness. No, I'm kidding. No, Dan's great.
Yep.
Obviously, he.
I know everyone loves him, but and so humble. You wouldn't even know he's a producer or the things that he's accomplished in his life, and that's what I love about him is just he doesn't have to throw it in your face. He doesn't have the need for people to know everything. But like I say, my dad and I for years and years, and Dr. Laura, that show got us through a lot of tough times, and it was he was a big celebrity. That's all I can tell you.
Well, still is in my book, Marie. Thank you for the call. Dan Mandis is, I call him Mandandis because he's the man. Love Dan the man. And in all seriousness, Dan is as gracious as they are. As a talk show host, he was an excellent executive producer. It's my understanding of a national, international sensation of a show, and wanted to be a host and set out to be a host and has become an incredible host, a Marconi Award-winning morning show host here on Nashville's Morning News. Still a big deal, and I will always owe an extreme debt of gratitude because he hired me to be on the airwaves on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Back in a moment. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy and you until 7 o'clock. We'll hand off to the great one, Mark Levin, at that time. Excited to hear what Mark has to talk about tonight. I always listen to the great one on the way to MJ, driving my way home. 615-737-9986. If you have thoughts or comments before we get out of here, you're always invited. Now's a great time to do it because normally we kind of flush the lines by this time of evening. And I have many, many other subjects that I have yet to get into that I want to get into. Before I do, I tallied it official. Now, do you have access yet to the Super Text line?
No, they won't give me access. Afraid of what I'm going to say.
No. I'm going to give you, I can give you my, if you post, understand you'll have to put like your name beside mine because it'll come out as MM. I don't want you to post as me. That's a little bit dangerous there, Jackson. But I would be willing. I trust you enough. Murphy says words that he will live to regret. I trust you enough that I would give you access through my Super Text account. If that's what the Super Texters want.
I would gladly reply to the Super Text chat. Will I be Matt Murphy? Will I be myself?
They miss you on Super Talk TV. Apparently all the cameras are going down now. We had our number one guest camera went out. My camera sadly remains, so you have to look at this ugly face throughout the course of the day if you're watching on Talk TV, and y'all know it's ugly. Y'all tell me so every day. But apparently now the guest camera is out in addition to the producer camera. So we'll try to figure things out. We're just falling apart around here. That's it. Nashville's law department is appealing to the Tennessee Supreme Court July 10th the city's hold on a second. Nashville's law department appealed, I should say, to the Tennessee Supreme Court July 10th in the city's latest effort to avoid having the Metro Council membership. The Tennessee Court of Appeals struck a blow against the city June 5 in a 2-1 ruling that a state law that caps Metro councils at 20 members is constitutional. You guys probably remember this story. The June 5th decision was a loss for Nashville in its legal challenge to a bill that was passed in 2023 by the Tennessee General Assembly. That bill stated that no matter your municipality, no matter who you are or where you are, that it requires city and metro government to cap their city councils at 20 members. Metropolitan governments are combined city and county governments. There are 3 of those in the state: Davidson County, Nashville, Moore County, Lynchburg, and Trousdale County, Hartsville. Well, the only government that currently has any more than 20 city councilors on its city or municipality government is Nashville. But this is not a Nashville-centric or specific bill. Did y'all know, by the way, I'm fully in support of this bill. I do believe that the General Assembly will win out, and what it will create, they will have to draw new district lines in Metro Nashville, and the next election cycle that happens in a couple of years from now, instead of having 40 separate Metro councilors, which is ridiculous, by the way, they'll have 20. That's good. The fewer, the better. Perhaps you'll soften the rough edges and get some of the morons out of the Metro Council. That's the hope, right? Is that you don't have so many fringe elements within the council. Now, that's up to the people of Davidson County to decide one way or the other. I think in this case, less is more. Did you know, Jackson, I will offer you this factoid, and I'll let you guess. We might have done this before. Nashville, Davidson County is the 3rd largest metropolitan government in terms of number of city councilors in the United States of America. They have 40 Metro councilors. There are only 2 cities with more. Would you dare name them?
Chicago and Los Angeles.
Chicago is correct. Los Angeles is not.
New York?
New York is correct.
I was going to do New York.
Pretty good guesses. Pretty good. I mean, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. So, yeah, New York has 50-something. Chicago has 50-something alder people, they call them, or aldermen. And then there's Nashville with 40. It is a recipe for divisiveness, non-decision-making, and corruption. And sadly, the city has lurched left as a result. We don't need that. We don't need that. 8203 says, do all of the shows really not have access to the super text line? Well,
I'm just new.
No. The shows have access. We, the hosts, have access. Jackson is just new to the process because he came over when Chris Webber left us and moved back to Georgia to be with his family. We needed at least an interim producer, and Jackson was gracious enough to offer his services. Does a great job. You do a great job.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. Most of the time. Let's not get full of ourselves.
Hey,
Let's not get the big head.
I'm a B+ student.
You did screw up earlier and cut us off the YouTube page for a while.
They're fine.
They'll be all right. The more mystery, the better for those knuckleheads over there. That said, Jackson's doing a great job. He just doesn't have access, but he will. Eventually, he will. Let's talk to Moochie. Am I pronouncing that correctly, Moochie?
Yes, you are, man.
The old Mooch.
What up?
What's going on?
Hey, I don't know if I dreamt it. I don't know where I heard it from, but it was something called the Samson, and it's like Samson, in the Bible. He cut his hair, he loses strength, But anyway, something about Israel. They're like their ultimate plan. If things don't go their way, if their back's against the corner, you might have been talking. I don't know where I heard it from, but if their back is like against the corner, they're literally going like nuke everybody. Like apparently they got like 84 nukes, and apparently during the JFK. I know I got a tinfoil hat on right now, but during the JFK term, he was mad at the guy that leaked it to him. I don't know if it was a head. I don't know if it was CIA or some type of intelligence, but they were the reason why Israel were able to get the nuclear ability they have now. Have you heard about that?
Wait,
they're going to go Samson.
Wait, so tell me what Samson is again. I lost track of you for a minute. I was looking something up. I'm sorry.
Samson is like, it's like, is there like, if things go bad for them, if they're getting pushed into a corner, I guess like if the Trump administration starts unraveling their deep rabbit hole they have, which we don't know, but they've been around for thousands of years, been scofflaws, if you will, to the world. If their back is against the corner, they'll launch whatever nuclear assets they have all over the world just to create, mass chaos. I don't know. That's what I heard. It's not a project. It's like some kind of, like in a spy movie, like a project, like some kind of covert mission, something like that. But I heard it on a show. I don't know if I heard it on your show. If I even
you did
heard
not.
it. I may have dreamt it.
Well,
I don't even know.
I don't think you heard it on my show. Would you venture a guess, Moochie, how many nukes Israel has?
I don't know. When I was hearing what I was hearing, they said 84 nukes.
Yeah, around. I've heard around 85 to 90.
Okay, so like I said, I don't know if I dreamt this. I know it sounds insane, but I heard it.
But that would be a suicide mission. Israel would be obliterated.
That's absolutely. Well, it'll be what you call
mutually assured destruction.
Assured destruction. Yes. So, but I mean, that's what I don't know where I heard it from, man. It's crazy. Like all of a sudden that I don't know, that a 2 or 3 minute segment of where I heard it. I might have been channeling God. I don't know.
Once again, where you heard it is non-consequential to the ultimate point. So, what are you asking me if I think that is true?
Right. Have you heard anything like that?
No. I mean, I don't. I think there are many wild speculative theories, more so than we've ever seen them, because we have anonymous people online that post these speculations. And look, I understand that Israel has to defend itself. I understand that it wants to exist. I do not believe that there is an actionable plan. But is it possible that someone somewhere along the line brought it up as an option? Sure. I mean, I imagine so. I mean, we've heard a lot of crazy things that the United States of America has brought up as well. But I do not believe that it is an action plan that is actually would be considered by the state of Israel.
I agree with you on that, but like I said, that's wherever I heard it from. It goes back to JFK, and that's part of the reason he got assassinated, because he was upset with whoever leaked that intelligence to the Israelis at the time. I don't know if it was Bush.
Let me ask you this, Mooch. Do you believe? Because based on, you draw this back to the early 1960s, right? Yes, that's over 60 years ago. So. Yes, by that very suggestion, I ask you, do you think that the Jewish people are in control of the United States of America right now?
Man, it's in the world of Twitter, you got some people saying yes, you got some people saying no. I mean, they've been, you got the mattress scandal where they were hauling that dirty mattress out of that tunnel. Nobody talks about that. There's reasons why there's coins.
I don't know.
The coins have ridges on. There's ridges on coins because back in the day they were shaving coins. I mean, it goes back to before Jesus.
Really, if you boil it all down, we can always blame the Jews, huh?
Right. I mean, I agree.
No, see, I was being Moochie. I was being a little facetious. That was me being sarcastic. Right. I think people that are weak-minded enough to blame the Jews for everything are just that, weak-minded people. I think I'm a fierce individualist. I do not take marching orders from any group outside of, I suppose I've never been given marching orders, but I suppose to continue to appear on this network, on these airwaves, that I ultimately have bosses that tell me certain things I can. I've never been told what I can or cannot talk about. I've never been prevented from talking about speculation, conspiracy theory, or otherwise conversing about the importance and power of the state of Israel, what would be called the Zionist or the Jewish state. Every government in existence has had intelligence operations, and Israel's has happened to be some of the best because they are one of the most threatened states in the world. I have noticed a significant uptick online, very dangerous place, but I've noticed a serious uptick in the amount of people since October 7th, 2023, in pointing fingers at all the world's problems at the Jewish people. To the point that some are now suggesting that AIPAC is more than just a lobbyist organization, that AIPAC really runs the nation. Some people believe that. I think it's very convenient, and I don't buy it. I still believe in the United States of America. I believe in Donald Trump. I don't believe that Donald Trump's beholden to anybody, including Benjamin Netanyahu. Those are my beliefs. You're entitled to yours. 615-737-9986, 51 after. Man, I'm annoying a lot of people today and pleasing others. I guess that means I'm doing something right. Steve in Marietta writes in and says, best line of the day, I'm Matt Murphy. I know so because it says on my underpants. That's true. Well, I mean, my name's not really on my underpants. It's just something that I like to say. A couple of minutes before we say goodbye, enough time to wrap up some of these stories we have been following for you. To include, I will not get a full-throated opportunity to go into this today, but perhaps tomorrow. There is a hearing at the Davidson County Chancery Court in an attempt to decide the fate of a death row inmate by the name of Byron Black. That hearing began yesterday. I don't know if they finished it up today or not. The case centers around Black's attorneys asking for his heart medical device to be turned off at his execution August 5th. They said this is to prevent what they describe as excruciating pain. Black's attorneys are also fighting for him in other courts to stop his execution based on what they call his intellectual disability. No decision yesterday, but during the hearing, Black's family was near the front row listening intently to the cross-examination of witnesses. The hearing was a plea for Black to avoid what his attorneys call a torturous death, especially with his severe health condition. I always love it. I just absolutely delight in the idea that people want me to be concerned with someone who they claim is going to go through excruciating pain because they are on death row for the death of people that they put through excruciating pain. And what I like to do when these issues come up in Tennessee or anywhere else around the country, instead of focusing on the scumbag that committed gross acts of inhumanity against our fellow man, I focus on the acts themselves. It's a hell of a lot harder to have any compassion for someone like Byron Black when you learn what they did. Tomorrow I'll share some of what they did, what Byron Black did. In the meantime, speaking of death, a judge in Nashville, Tennessee, has found Shaquille Taylor competent to stand trial for the murder of Belmont student Jillian Ludwig. You remember this case from a number of years ago. Shaquille Taylor is accused of shooting and killing college student Jillian Ludwig in 2023. This was after he was released. He was being held on multitude of charges, and he was released when it was determined by Glenn Funk's district attorney's office. Did you dump me on that? Yeah, it's probably best.
Yeah, that was.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, but it wasn't. That wasn't good.
I was trying to say Glenn Funk's district attorney's office, and I did not say Glenn Funk. Yeah.
Just wrap it up there.
Yeah, what? Just call it a night on that one. Anyway, Shaquille Taylor is accused of shooting and killing Jillian Ludwig and will stand trial for that crime, despite previously being determined to be mentally incompetent to stand trial. And there you go. Mark Levin is up next for Jackson. Stop. Just, you got the giggles over there? You like that, did you? Old Glenn strikes again. Time to go get a liquor drink. Until next time, for Ken Weaver, for Jackson Williams, Matt Murphy speaking and saying, have a great evening. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.